The job of a conservative is to jettison the things that don't work and save the things that do work. And we tend to be conservative. Let's not be hasty. Let's not move too fast. It requires a balance between a conservative and a liberal, not a progressive. Progressives are some entirely different thing. A liberal is somebody who is a little more, hey, let's push the envelope here. Let's go. You need both sides to be able to thrive as a human, as a company, as a country. They're two wings of a bird. If it only has one wing, it will not fly. Okay? So let's conserve something. It's already been destroyed, but let's see if we can bring it back. And it is called the scientific method. Now, it's kind of a new concept. It just started in the 1600s. And it looks for empirical evidence. It looks for things that are true. Well, whose truth? Well, this is how we find out the truth. This is a procedure that consists in systematic observation, measurement, and experiment, and then the formulation of a hypothesis. So, I think Glenn is too fat. That's my hypothesis. He's very unhealthy. That's my hypothesis. All right, Glenn, let me measure how tall you are. Now step on the scale. Holy mother, I think my hypothesis is correct. Glenn, get on that treadmill. 45 seconds into it, my God, man, it's a shock you're even alive. My hypothesis is correct. My hypothesis also, he's not only fat, out of shape, but he's also a male. Glenn, pull down your pants. Jeez, pull them up, please, quickly. He's a male. That's how the scientific method works. Now, if something says, I step on the scale and I'm filled with helium and I'm like 112 pounds, then the scientist goes, holy cow, that doesn't match. My hypothesis is that he's fat and overweight, but he looks overweight, but he weighs 112 pounds. The guy looks like he's 450 pounds. This is how it works. And when it comes back that way, then you have to change your hypothesis. Okay? Otherwise, if you keep going with all of the facts disproving your hypothesis, you're not scientific. You don't have any brains. You know what you are? Part of a cult or a religious cult because you are denying the scientific fact. All right. So let's go through some of this. Using the scientific method, let's see who's lying to us. Hillary Clinton has come out and said, Ultra MAGA Florida isn't safe for people of color and LGBTQ plus, even Disney. Okay, well, that's quite a charge, and I would like to know if it's not safe for black people, then I am really upset about it. So let's start gathering some evidence. Her hypothesis is Florida is not safe for people of color. Great, let's look at some of the facts. The head of the NAACP has a home there. Okay, well, now, wait a minute. Maybe he's not there, and he just bought a home when it was safe. Okay. The stats show that Florida is the leading state for black businesses and black entrepreneurs. Well, that's weird. Here's another one, that they're banning black history. That's why it's so unsafe. They're banning black history. No, they're going after things like the 1619 Project, which by its own admission is not history. It's a reimagining of history. So far, her hypothesis is not going well. Well, they just banned another book. Amanda Gorman's poem that was used at Biden's inauguration has been banned in a Florida school. Associated Press, LA Times, USA Today, MSNBC, Rolling Stone, Politico. Is that true? No. A parent filed a complaint about the hill we climb, and and the school, K through 8 in Miami Lakes, took action in response to that complaint. What did they do? Well, they got together, not with some crazy parent, but with teachers and counselors, and went and looked at the book, and they reclassified it and said, you know what? It's for middle school. It shouldn't be for elementary. And the book was moved from one part of the library to another part of the library. So which is telling you the truth? Which one is sticking to a false hypothesis that the evidence shows is not true? This has to be done on absolutely everything. Here's a story for you today. Major journal retracts a study on socially contagious transgenderism among kids. Now, there was a study done on the rapid onset gender dysphoria. That is a hypothesis. The hypothesis there is we think that girls going from gender dysphoria of 0.5% a year later having it at 30%, we should look into because there's a rapid onset of gender dysphoria, mainly affecting little girls. Why? So they did a study. They talked to 1,655 possible cases from parents. And these parents went to the doctor, and their kids are either in, transition or not, whatever. But what they found with these parents was the parents were concerned about their children, concerned enough to take a non-brief survey about the issues and find out what they thought was going on and their experience with this. Well, they found out a lot, that it looks to be social media that is pushing a lot of this, that is captivating and changing our children in a really bad way. So the paper found evidence that youth experiencing rapid onset of gender dysphoria were involved in transgender social media groups and peer groups. It also found youth with mental health problems were more likely to have socially and medically transition than those without. That's the fact. So now this is just one study, but this one study showed the rapid onset of gender dysphoria is real and it's connected to social media, okay, and mental illness. Well, it was published in a very credible magazine or, a journal. It had been peer reviewed. Once it's published, you get an explosion of people who are on the other side and saying that that is not true. They go and say, we will never publish anything, and we will tell everyone who you are, you bigots, if you don't retract and apologize. They did. Now, the way the scientific method works is you look at all of the evidence. Here's one piece. This is stopped now by someone who says you can't even look at that. They don't go to disprove it. They say take it and burn it. Which? Gavin Newsom says that the Target CEO is going to come for blacks and Asians and Jews and women are the next victim of a systemic attack by white radicals. These are extremists in our community. Now, there's this hypothesis. The people that are protesting are the extremists in our society. Okay. I know my wife. She is pretty even-keeled. Otherwise, I'd be dead by now. She's very even-keeled. She's not an extremist. And she shops at Target. I know a lot of her friends. They shop at Target. And they were all horrified that satanic transgender crap was being sold right at the front, where all the Halloween candy is when it's Halloween. For a month, Target makes this transgender, LGBTQ, I2+, whatever, all of that stuff right at the front, including girls' swimsuits made for men so they can tuck it. Now, are the people who say, no, this is not something as a society we should be. Look, if you want to buy a swimsuit, I'm sure you're an adult. You can go find a swimsuit with the tuck-it pocket in it. We do not need this in front of the store of Target. And we're not doing any. Your name, by the way, is Target. So don't talk to me about being dangerous with language. We're not saying, we're going to burn your store. We're saying we're just not going to shop there anymore. Just not going to shop there. Just like we don't drink light beer anymore, Bud Light beer anymore. Now, the other extremist is saying, the other side is saying, these are dangerous extremists. That doesn't fit in the bucket. You have to dismiss the evidence of who is saying this. They say it's good for business, but we know they lost They lost money on the stock market here just recently, like 3%, and they're losing customers. So how is this association with the transgender Satanist, how is this good for business? Well, I have a hypothesis. It is good for business. But see, if you only measure the things that are obvious, you may not be able to see the full picture. How is this good for business? Well, who owns Target? Who are the major shareholders? Here are the top 10 holders of Target Corporation stock. Number 1, Vanguard, 9%. BlackRock, 9%. State Street, 8%. Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, 3%. Wells Fargo, 2.5%. Bank of America, 2.5%. Another Vanguard fund with another 2.5%. It is good for business. These are all the people that are voting with their shares, ESG. And if you have these people owning your company, of course you're going to do that. And you're going to say it's good for business in the long term because they've already made the decision where the American people and the people of the world, where they're mentally supposed to be on issues like this. And it's just a matter of time until we get all of these bigots to accept it. By the way, Ali Stuckey's going to be on with me about an hour to talk about this. This boycott, if it stops, you will fail. If it continues and it becomes Bud Light, oh my gosh, you're on the verge of a massive win.